Hello, and welcome to late afternoon. And today's guest is Mr. Bob Mould, who has a new album out, District Line. Ladies and gentlemen, Bob Mould. Welcome to the show.
Good late afternoon.
Good late afternoon. Yes. So you made a new album for all of us hardcore fans, and seem to be picking up some new ones. So tell us. Today we have some metaphysical questions for you.
Okay.
Favorite color?
Favorite color, blue.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What is your go-to workhorse guitar besides acoustic?
My blue Strat.
Your blue Strat?
My blue Strat that I play all the time, especially live. That's the guitar. That's the one that I bought in 1989 off the rack in Forest Lake, Minnesota, when I was driving back from Twin Cities to the farm.
Wow. Now, does it have a name, like a nickname?
It's blue.
Just blue. That's pretty cool. You drive a car?
I do drive a car.
Do you listen to music when you drive?
I do.
What sort of music are you enjoying lately?
Usually the stuff I'm working on.
Cool.
Usually that or classic rock.
Right on. And when you mean classic rock, do you mean Traffic or Free, or do you mean like Zeppelin? Kiss?
Of those two, well, I saw Kiss when I was 16, so they were all right. I never saw Zeppelin. Zeppelin was they were the evil, because when the Beatles broke up, the day the Beatles broke up, the New York Daily News said that the heirs to their throne were a group from England called Led Zeppelin.
What?
And I just said, no, there won't be any heirs to this throne, thank you.
Right.
So,
Led Zeppelin are a very strange band anyway, because sometimes the records are very interesting, and other times the records are very, I don't know, how do you say this, unlistenable. But only maybe due to the fact that they're so compressed, the information.
well, I was only 9 or 10 years old, and I just wasn't having any of it. So,
Now,
years later, they're fine.
absolutely. Now, as someone that was there and involved in what we now know as American hardcore, you know, our punk rock. Could you tell me, like, what were some of your favorite hardcore bands?
I remember the first time I heard the Germs. When I heard GI, I heard the first side of it. I was pretty shocked.
Joan Jett produced that record.
I know. In
and
2 days.
She was just in the studio the other day down the street from my apartment.
Excellent.
I saw her equipment. I didn't see her.
She's great, but I listened to that record, and I think they did it, and they recorded it in 2 days, and you can tell which one is day 2. Like when you go back and listen.
Oh yeah.
It's like everything's sort of out of tune, and the drums are sort of sloppy, and Darby's not making a whole lot of sense.
Apparently, someone was passed out in the console.
Yeah.
That may have been Joan Jett.
Maybe. Who knows?
I'm sure that it was one long day.
That was a great record. That
Amazing record.
That was an amazing record. That's the one I always think of when I think of hardcore.
And as you know, like some bands are getting back together, which has been pretty wild. Like there's been a resurgence, like Red Cross, Gangrene, but I don't know if it's just but one original member. But I guess they've kind of always been around.
Yeah.
Who else is sort of doing this thing?
Everybody seems to be doing it.
Yeah.
Everybody except me.
Yeah. Well, your new record is tremendous. It's powerful. It is my favorite solo record.
Thank you.
And that's saying a lot, because Workbook and Black Sheets of Rain both were tremendously huge to me, and more or less styled like a lot of the way that I think about songwriting. And even it's funny, every time I play a D chord, I think I must have a fraction of a second where I think about how you manipulated it using the higher structure. You know, a lot of people used that very idea later on in alternative music. Now, in the 90s, did you feel like could you hear a lot of the influence of your early
Yep.
work happening?
Yeah, I could. It is very flattering. It's very nice to hear.
You must have been totally proud.
Yeah, because I mean, I did it. You know, it was like I had to occupy that much more space being in a three-piece. So I just learned to, play that second guitar part over over the high part that would just repeat the drones, and then you do all the work down
Yeah.
underneath it. And then I started hearing. I mean, it's Townsend did it. Richard Thompson does it. I mean, people have done it. I think maybe at that volume it was something new.
I got an email from Pete Townsend after I did his thing.
Cool.
It was too intense.
Oh, the show that he had, that thing that he has now.
Yeah, it's this radio thing. He's an intense guy.
He is. He's a good guy. I've spent a little bit of time with him. He's great.
Pretty intense.
Yeah, he is.
So what's next for Bob Mould?
Well, I just got off the road. I'm going to go to Europe in late May. I'm going to go home to DC and do some writing in a little bit. The new album is almost written. I just need to find 3 or 4 more anchors to keep the tent from flying away. And then it should be good.
Wow, a new record.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's good stuff.
Will there always be someone on this end, the receiving end of that? Well, that's pretty exciting stuff. Okay, everybody, Bob Mould. Can't believe it in my fucking apartment.
There you go.
Now on the blog.
All right.
On the blog that doesn't exist any longer. Cause
I'll have to put a link to it on my blog.
Blogorama.
Excellent. It's blog live.
Okay. See you later, America.